All right, so when you receive feedback, like we talked about, usually it's in the form, sometimes directly on the call when you're presenting work. Sometimes it's through email or it's summarized, which is the best, I believe. And sometimes it's directly on a platform. So if you're working on websites, there's things like InVision where the clients can drop in feedback directly on there. Or if you're doing video projects, you can use something like Frame.io where people can comment on the time code. So
you can also collect this feedback using a project management tool like Monday.com.
It's perfect. Of course, like I said earlier, if any of the notes are unclear, you have to clarify or challenge your client. And I know this gets very uncomfortable, and I think in the past, if something has been unclear for me when I was quite young in this game, I would just kind of keep that to myself and assume and guess what it is that they want and hope that the next posting I got it right. But that was the wrong way.
That's kind of our response as creatives. We hear something and our immediate instinct is to go make something so that we can prove to the client that we're doing our job and show them and get more feedback. But you're saying that we don't want to do that.
No, we don't want to do that. As soon as something looks funky or something looks unclear or it's contradicting each other, you have to clarify and challenge that with the client, right? So if it's something very simple, you could just shoot off an email and it's like, hey, I had a question about this one thing. If it's very complex and it requires a lot of interpretation, you should set up another meeting or call just to unpack that and really understand what they mean. And ultimately, the goal is to understand the intent behind what they're asking so that you can recommend the best solution moving forward. Because sometimes they won't be able to give you a very prescriptive feedback.
Right.
And sometimes you just need to understand their intent so that you could think about what are the best ways that we could approach this to solve that challenge. So there's a couple things, and one thing that I want you guys to focus on is tone, because it's not just what you say, but it's how you say it. And I think when you are challenging clients, it's very easy to get defensive and very aggressive about your work. And I've been there before, and over the years I've had to just detach myself emotionally from the work and just stay very objective, right? So there's a couple of pro tips for you.
Pro tip!
Boom, boom, let's go. So pro tip number one, stay out of the results and be objective, right? I think you need to be able to distance yourself from the work that you and your team have been doing, not be emotionally attached, and just pause on that for a second to understand what it is that the client needs out of the feedback that they're giving you. Next thing, take on a helpful approach. If you just put all of your kind of needs, wants, and desires aside and just focus on how can I help the client in this situation, it's going to help your tone and how you're communicating with your client. Lastly, if all else fails, just say it with a smile. If you smile when you're saying something, it just sounds so much better. Client, this is going to be double the amount of cost just to make this change. Doesn't that sound so much better? So just say it with a smile. It helps so much with the tone.
Absolutely. And something that I've noticed is that clients are not creative directors. And so by following these pro tips, you'll probably uncover 9 times out of 10 that their feedback is something really simple. A client that says it doesn't feel right, well, that's going to send warnings. It's going to ring alarms and, the smoke is going to start pouring out. But maybe they really just mean that it needs to be blue instead of yellow.
Right.
So it can be these simple changes, but you have to have this back and forth, and you have to kind of be objective so that you don't allow emotion in the conversation.
Right.